Welcome to Not Boring English. Today's story is about Marie Antoinette, and it is for learners at the B1-B2 level. If the reading or listening feels fast, remember you can slow the video with the playback speed settings. The rose, the bread, and the palace. The day she arrived, the palace looked like a bright sea of white and gold. Carriages moved slowly through clean streets. Tall windows shone with light, and music came from every room. Marie felt small and strange in this new place. She was only a young woman, and she had left her home to live far away. People looked at her with expectation. They wanted a queen who would be beautiful and calm, a woman who wore the finest clothes and smiled for guests. At first, Marie tried to learn her new role. She studied the language, the rules of the court, and the manners of her new country. She learned how to sit quietly during long dinners. She learned which shoes to wear with which dress. The courtiers watched her carefully, and she watched them back. The schoolroom for kings and queens was not a place of ideas. It was a place of appearances. Do this, do that, and you will be perfect. Yet the more she tried to be perfect, the more she felt alone. She loved beauty. She loved flowers, music, and cakes with soft sugar. The palace gave her many beautiful things. Painters painted her face in bright color. Jewelers offered her diamonds that shone like stars. Dressmakers stitched silk and lace for every hour of the day. In the gardens, she walked among roses and fountains and felt a swift happiness. The court applauded her when she wore new gowns. The courtiers gave her gifts. They said she was charming and sweet. For a while, the applause seemed like warmth. Outside the palace, the city was a different world. In narrow streets, people worked hard for little money. They paid high taxes for grain and bread. When the harvest failed, bread became expensive. Mothers worried about feeding their children. Fathers walked slowly with empty hands. The city smelled of smoke and sweat. Many people saw the palace as a place of waste and riches. They did not know the wishes in a queen's heart. They only saw the gold on her table and the parties that lasted long into the night. Rumors began to grow like wild grass. Someone said the queen spent too much. Someone else said she did not care about the people. The press printed stories that hurt her name. In the palace, gossip moved fast. People told one another small, untrue things, and then those things became loud and strong. Marie heard whispers and lies. She felt hurt, but she also felt trapped. She could not simply walk into the streets and speak to the people. The court would not allow it. Advisors told her to be quiet, to keep her image clean, and to avoid trouble. One winter morning, Marie left a small door to the palace and walked alone into the city. She wanted to see truth with her own eyes. The cold air hit her face. She wrapped a plain shawl around her shoulders so that she would not be recognized. She moved slowly through the market. The smell of baked bread pulled her forward. At a small stall, she saw a baker with flour on his hands. He looked tired, but kind. The baker's wife held a small child who slept against her shoulder. The child's face was thin. Marie stopped and watched. The baker offered a warm bread to a woman who had no money. He split his own loaf and gave it with a small smile. Marie felt something change inside her. The baker did not wear jewels. He did not bow or speak in the language of the court. He spoke simply and truthfully. He said, "We must try to help, even when the day is hard." The words were like light. Marie wanted to help. She wanted to do more than smile at parties. She wanted to feed children and speak to mothers. She thought of the diamonds, the dresses, the cakes. Could these things become a way to help? She returned to the palace with the baker's words in her mind. She asked her advisors if they could make a plan to help the poor. Some advisors agreed that small gifts and food could calm anger. Others warned that big actions might make the court look weak. The queen began small. She paid for soup for one street, then another. She visited hospitals with a few ladies and gave money to small workshops that trained poor women to sew. The baker's family received bread deliveries paid for by the palace. Marie felt good when she saw a child smile after a warm bowl of soup. These acts warmed her heart and gave her a new purpose. But change in a palace is slow, and the city's anger was strong. Many people still read the newspapers that wrote unkind things. They did not know the baker who took a gift from the palace. Rumors continued. Some courtiers used the queen's actions to make political points against her. They said she wanted too much power, and the country had many problems beyond food. The kings and ministers argued about taxes, about war, and about how to manage money. People in the streets wanted not only bread, but also a new voice in how the country was run. One simple story made everything worse. A rumor said the queen had bought a very expensive necklace and had laughed at people who had no bread. The story was not true, but it spread. People shouted in the streets. The palace guards became nervous. The queen felt trapped, like a bird in a small cage. She could not speak to the crowd. She could not explain. The baker who had once split his bread with a poor woman came to the palace one day. He bowed low and said, "Madame, people need more than gifts. They need to be heard." The words were gentle and true. At last, the city's voice rose into action. People marched and demanded change. The palace could not hold back the tide. The queen stood at a window and watched the crowd. She remembered the baker's hands and the child who had slept against a mother's shoulder. She remembered the taste of a warm soup and the way simple kindness could make a small room bright. The day ended with noise and with fear. The palace closed its doors. In the quiet after the storm, Marie understood a deep lesson. Luxury is not a wrong thing by itself. Beauty and music and food can bring joy. But when leaders live only for their beauty, they forget the needs of the people. A leader must see beyond the windows of her palace. She must listen. She must act with the people in mind. Marie could not change all that had happened, and history moved on with pain and loss. Yet she kept a small book where she wrote lessons she had learned. She wrote about the baker who gave away bread and about the mother with the thin child. She wrote that small acts of kindness were not enough without listening and change. Years later, when people spoke of the past, some remembered the parties and the jewels. Others remembered the slow changes that could have begun if more had listened sooner. Marie's story became a lesson for future leaders. Power must come with care, and beauty must be with responsibility. The palace kept its roses, but the true wealth that Marie learned to value was different. It was the warm bowl of soup for a child, the honest conversation with a baker, and the willingness to listen to a whole people. In the end, the story asks a simple question. What will you do when you see someone who needs help? The answer is small, but the result can grow like a garden if we tend it together. Comprehension. Questions. Now, I will ask a few questions about the story to check your understanding. 1. Why did Marie visit the city and speak with the baker? 2. What small actions did Marie take to help the poor after she returned to the palace? 3. What lesson did Marie learn by the end of the story? Thank you for listening to this story on Not Boring English. If you liked it, please leave a comment to tell us which part you liked most. And remember to subscribe for more stories.